On the issue of blowing it, it does. There's an aspect of this which really concerns me. You mentioned Neil Ferguson. His wife, Ayaan Hirsi Ali, says that we're in danger of no longer living in a democracy, but in an emocracy where everybody emotes and confuses, as Thomas Sowell puts it, thinking and feeling. They think feeling is thinking. We must, I think, avoid the trap as we push against the left that is strangely unacquainted with facts, data, reason, and reasonableness, not to fall into that same trap. We want to argue the facts and not deny our own commitment to recognising the worth and dignity of even people we vehemently disagree with. I think that's been so alienating in our culture, and it's one of the great Achilles heels of the progressives, their nastiness. We've got to avoid falling into that trap, it seems to me. Do you have a view?
I do. I think that we have to do two things. As I look at I try to look back at ancient revolutions in Greece and Rome, or what brought the Jacobins to power, or what brought the Bolsheviks to power. And I think there's two lessons. People have to be courageous and forthright and honest to oppose that. And they can't sit by the sidelines, or the minority will seize power and destroy their culture and their nation. But by the same token, I agree with you that in their zealousness to defeat that danger, they can't alienate people. And I'll give you an example of what I mean. And I voted for Donald Trump. I'm a big supporter, and we've talked about that. But the other day, he gave a speech to CPAC. It was a good speech, but at one point he said, Putin is a genius, but he gave a whole preface about all the bad things Putin did. And he meant to say that Putin had figured out us, and therefore he was a genius, and we were appeasing and weak, and therefore we were dumb. But as it came out, he didn't use a qualifying adjective. And so the headlines the next nanosecond was, Trump calls Putin a genius, his own president dumb. Whereas if he had just said, Putin is one of those evil geniuses, one of those dangerous geniuses. And if he had just said Biden is acting tragically dumb or unfortunately dumb. So we on the right and conservatives have to be very, very careful, given the media is against us and the popular culture, to be very careful in the words we say, the expressions we use. And it's much better to be quiet and smiling and carry a club than it is to be angry and loud with a twig. So I guess my advice to conservatives is, the more that you can be civil, the more forceful you can be. And the more that you want to go down a cul-de-sac and argue and scream and yell and smear somebody, the less clout you're going to have. And I would rather have a lot of clout and not pick fights that are gratuitous.